Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd do a little bit of makeup today, but I have to be very upfront and say this is the most simple, basic special effects you can possibly do. Now it can be very effective, but it's basic. If you can do this, it looks really effective and it can be great for a variety of reasons, and it does come under special effects, but no one is going to chap your door for a Hollywood movie with these special effects because they're basic. However, it's coming up to Halloween next month, so if you want to have a little bit of fun and do an irritated skin effect and a dry skin effect, then I thought that's what we would do today because I had to do it recently. And reminding myself of these basic but effective special effects recently made me think that you might like to see them too. So if you didn't already know, part of what I do is also makeup artistry. So I don't do it all the time, but sometimes I do get booked for filming jobs. And I was booked for an advert recently. I was booked for a Twitter campaign recently. I don't know if that's actually been seen yet. Sometimes when you're booked for a job, you don't actually get notified when it is active. Other times you do get notification, or you might actually see the filming on TV or online. And you still get quite excited when you see it because it's your work that's actually there for everyone to see. But I thought I would show you this, and it is, as I was saying, an irritated skin. So it can start off using this sponge as a broken capillary look, which can move into skin irritation, and then the liquid latex, which is great for a variety of different skin effects, such as wrinkles. You can do bald caps with latex, but you're actually far easier actually buying a bald cap and blending it in. But you can, in theory, make them with the latex. But today I'm going to show you a dry skin irritation. So I'll do it on my hand and my elbow. And what I'll do is I'll talk you through the products first, and then I'll do the two separate demos for you. So again, it's nothing spectacular. It is not Oscar worthy, but the results can be really effective and surprisingly easy to do for an effective result. So I'll chat you through what I'm going to use first. Now, this is a Grimace sponge, and this is a brand new one we're going to use today. We're pulling it all out the bag for you. This is the Grimace coarse stipple sponge that we're using. So you get stipple sponges in all different sizes, all different variations, and I'll open that for you in a sec. We've also got a cotton bud. Now, I would actually like to start using the eco-friendly ones, which I think are bamboo. If anyone knows, they can let me know. But you might as well use up your kit while you've got it. So once I'm finished with these cotton buds Q-tips, if you like, I will definitely be moving on to the eco version, but I will use all of these up first. Then I've got a little pot of, and this happens to be Grimace, but it doesn't have to be Grimace that you use. This is Rouge eyeshadow, but you could use blusher, or you could even get a result with a reddish lipstick too. So this is to give a red skin effect. And then I've got liquid latex, and this is the Kryolan one. But again, there's lots of different brands, lots of different ranges. And I got this one, which was actually from, believe it or not, it was a joke shop, because joke shops often have special effects products in them too. And I had to pop into my local joke shop to see if they had any, because I had a very tight turnaround to get latex. But if I wasn't in such a hurry, you could go online, you could go to makeup suppliers. But that is my tip of the day. If you actually need to get liquid latex or a special effect product in a hurry and you don't have time to go online, or you don't have a makeup supplier near you, try a joke shop. Worked for me. So what we'll do first of all is I'll show you how you would do a red skin irritation. So here's our stipple sponge. So what you'll find is, if anyone's ever used a kitchen scouring pad, they feel a bit like that, but they're softer. And it's got lots of texture to it, so that when you press it into the product and then you press it onto the skin, you get lots of different effects. So what I'll do is I'll show you on my elbow, the crook of my elbow. And what we'll do is we'll start off just by pressing it once in. And then in an ideal world, what you'll get is, I don't know if you can see there the transfer. So you can see the red powder is now on the stipple sponge, and what I would suggest is always go in lightly with your pressure on the skin just to see what kind of payoff that you get. But if you can imagine, just one single press could give you quite an effective broken capillary result. So this is on my elbow, and if I just press in and release, you can just start to see a little bit of irritation there. So have you ever just sort of been a bit irritated or scratched yourself or started to have the beginnings of a rash? That would be an irritation. Now, obviously, what shows up on film can be different to what you see in reality. So because I'm left-handed, I'm just going to bring over my powder here. So I'm pressing into the powder again, and I'm pressing over the area. And what I'm starting to do is create an irritation. Now, I don't need to press into the powder every time, but I'm just really going to over-egg it here just to show you the result. Now, when I've created my result, because it's powder, I would have to set it with a translucent powder, because what would happen if I didn't set it with a translucent powder is I could start to rub it away and I could actually smudge it. So if someone wanted to do this and they got a perfect result, but then they put on their coat, went to, maybe it was a fancy dress party, or maybe you were actually taking images, by the time you take off your coat or your jumper or your cardigan, you could have smudged it and ruined the result. But that is a nice, easy way to create irritation. Now, as you can see, it's almost like there's lots of different little tiny dots of the irritation in the skin. So that's realistic, that's how it would actually look. Now, if I continue just to work on that area and just start to almost blend it up and smudge it a little bit, then it starts to look more like an irritation, as in a rash. So I'm not continuously dipping the stipple sponge in, I'm just using what's on the sponge, and I'm using the sponge to soften that into the skin. So this now starts to look almost like a heat rash, or a general irritation on the skin, or maybe I've taken an allergic reaction to a product. If you imagine if you did this on a large patch of skin, that could start to look like sunburn. And I'm just actually using what's on the sponge. I'm not using anything else, but I am not using my fingers, because if I use my fingers, I've got natural oils. I've got a temperature within the skin that I don't have on the brush. Sorry, not the brush, the sponge. So a mixture of what could be residue on my fingers or just natural skin oils mixed with, again, skin temperature could actually change the result and could make it look fake. So I'm just using the sponge and I'm not touching it. But I went from having the little dots of irritation to just now what almost looks like just something has really irritated and affected the skin. So that's how simple it can be to get that effect. So sometimes when you are watching television programs or you're looking at images and the result or the result they're aiming for is an irritated skin, a rash, maybe they've had an injury. You know, sometimes you watch your soap operas and they've got the person's in hospital and they've had a nasty accident. You could find that they've used the stipple sponge and they've used some red blusher or eyeshadow to create that irritation in the skin. I'm going to show you dry skin with the latex, but if you've ever seen someone with a burn or an injury, or just recently I was watching one of the soaps, I think it was an old EastEnders, and one of them had a car accident, so there was redness in the skin followed by false dried blood followed by latex on the skin to make it look like there was cuts. So you can imagine that they probably did have some stippling there to create that effect. But likewise, I think if I'd told you that I'd burnt myself in the sun, I'd overdone it in the sun, or I'd taken a reaction to a product, I think I could get away with that. I think that looks quite believable. But likewise, just the initial press and release, as I can show you again here, when you do that initial press and release, that looks more like a fresh skin irritation, like there's some sort of rash or a broken capillary effect. So that's the first one. And just doing it for you just now, I still think when you do it and you take your time and you use the correct products, I think you could trick a lot of people with that and they would think that you genuinely did have an irritation. So that is using the stipple sponge with the red product to get an irritation in the skin. The second simple special effect that I want to show you is creating a dry skin effect on the skin. Now, latex can play up and sometimes it doesn't behave how you want it to. So there'll be times where the temperature of the skin is an issue. It could be too hot, too cool. There could be times when it's the air around you when you're working. The air is just affecting how it works. So sometimes when people are using liquid latex, they'll actually use a hairdryer too. So if you know that you're going into a situation where there could be elements that are playing up, you might want to think about having a hairdryer to hand, and you can use it on a cool setting. But that's just something that you pick up when you're trying to figure out why the latex might not be playing the way that it should be. The other thing to point out is latex can be a product that can cause allergic reactions in a lot of people. So please do a patch test, and you would actually do a patch test in the crook of the elbow, which ironically looks as if I've had a reaction. That's just because of my amazing special effects. So it's either the crook of the elbow or behind the ear. And the reasons for that is they're two very sensitive areas of skin, and if you're going to take a reaction, they're a good area to take it, because you'll know if you're sensitive there because it's very delicate skin. Don't use it anywhere else. If you were using latex on someone and they had been okay with the test, but they start to react, it could be your redness, your itchiness. You might start to get a lumpy rash. They might complain that it's getting warmer in that zone. Stop what you're doing, take it off. And the way that you can take it off is you can actually just wait for it to dry and then peel it off. Or you've got removers that you can use, just use a removal product and get it off. And then you can use something like a coolant, aloe vera gel, anything like that, just to cool down the area, cold water, and then just do not obviously use any more latex on that area. So I'm going to show you just on my hand, and we'll use a little patch here. And then what we'll do is I'll let it dry and then show you the effect. So what I'm going to do is use my cotton bud, and I'm just going to put some latex on this area, and we're going to play about with it. So I'm going to show you how you can create a dry skin effect. And what you want to do is put a thin layer on, and you can build it up. But when you build it up, it can look more fake. So we'll just put a wee thin layer on just now. And then remember to put your lid on, because if you don't put your lid on, you could very easily knock it over. So air temperatures can affect how quickly your latex dries. The skin can be cold and that can affect it. The skin can be too hot and that can mean it's taking too long to dry. If it's sweaty skin, you might need to powder it first. If you're in a hurry, some people use a hairdryer on a low setting just to speed it up. And again, you can really build it up and build it up depending on the effect that you're looking for, because you can go from dry skin to broken skin to burnt skin to damaged skin. You can put some fake blood in there. You can put some pus effect in. You can really start to build up skin effects so quickly. But just for the sake of having a bit of fun today, we're going to do some dry skin. So I'll feel it, and it feels quite tacky. The thicker it is, the longer it will take to have an effect. But all you're doing is just pushing and manipulating the latex just to see if you can make it look quite dry. So can you see there I've got a little bit of a bubble? So that's actually a break in the latex, which looks like dry skin. I'll see if I can just get an edge here, and what to do is, look, see how that edge, if I just push it, that looks like dry skin there. But what I wouldn't want to do is create an edge all the way around. And then what I can do here is just again manipulate that latex. This is a very thin layer, so the result here is going to be very subtle. The thicker the layer, the more dramatic the result. Can you see that's where the latex finishes here? Because again, I'm pulling this along and I'm creating a dry skin effect. I've got some latex here, so let's push it here and create some dry skin. I'm going to see if I can just use my nail here. Yep, just burst a little bit there. So it's almost on par with either reacting to something, or maybe you've been in the sun and your skin's starting to peel. And that's really it. So that's just, again, playing about with the latex. What you can also do very carefully is if you think the edge is looking a bit too rolled, pull it and just let it naturally snap back. So when you pull it, it's actually looking like real dead skin would look. Because the dead skin, have you noticed that if ever you've had some dry skin, it wants to come off, but there's some skin there that's not ready to come off. So you can get that effect where it's almost rolled. Look, there's a really good bit there. I just pulled that a little bit. And that's how it looks. Again, we'll see what happens. Now, we're just having fun here. So look, let's pull a little bit here and see what happens. Got that edge. Let's just pull it. A little bit of dry skin there. And we've got a wee edge here. Now, there will come a point, though, where it's pretty much dried into the skin. And that's where you're best leaving it, because if it's dried into the skin, when you start to pull it, it's just going to come off because the latex is now dry. But what I will do is I'll take our stipple sponge again and just show you another effect that you can do. So if you were told, yeah, make that skin dry, but add in a little bit of irritation, take your stipple sponge and just very gently work in some irritation. And all I've got is a little bit of product on it, and I'm now making the skin red. So again, just a little bit, and just work that in. And now not only have I got a little patch of dryness, I've got red, cracked, irritated skin. Because you've got a little shine to the latex, that could work to become evolved almost like damaged skin, like a burn. And what you would do is you would blend it more out. And as I was saying, sometimes people would build up a bit of latex. They would actually take the latex, build up a lot of layers, and then actually maybe run the back of a brush down it, or you can get special implements to work with latex, and that could become like a cut, and then you would put some false blood into that. But that's just a different way that you can use it and create that effect. So that's just a little bit of skin irritation there. And then when you're finished with the latex, it can be as simple as just rolling it away. Look at that. Just roll it away. And I can peel it. I would say if someone's got hair there, that could be a little bit sore. So maybe don't put the latex on an area if there's a lot of hair. But you've probably seen programs where they have a latex mask on or a latex facial effect and they peel it off. And it's the same thing. Some people, when I was training, used to love deliberately placing the latex on the hand, letting it dry, just so they could peel it off. They could have done that all day. But I hope you find that interesting. It's just a very basic demonstration. It is in no way, shape or form a professional television worthy demonstration of how you would do those. It's more about sort of fun demo, playing about with it. But when I was doing it for work recently, I wasn't playing about with it. I had to do it for exactly the purposes of that filming, and you had to do it specifically to that. So I want you to know there's a difference between playing about with it and actually projecting how it's going to look on the screen, designing that makeup, designing how it's going to look. There is a difference. So I hope you understand that in case anyone leaves a comment and says that is rubbish, that's not how you do it. I know, I'm not doing that for telly, I'm doing that for fun today. So I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment if you'd like to see more fun demos. And other than that, thanks again for your support, and I'll see you soon.